Hello everybody, this is Billy Abelgard with Digital Realty, and today we're just going to go through a market report from the month of September. This is just to give you an update of how September compared to the previous month of August, but also year over year, how September of this year compared to 2020. So to jump into it, just to start off with an overview here, we're going to be covering single-family homes and condominiums primarily, but also a little bit of data on multifamilies as well. So compared to the September month of the previous year, so September of this year was awesome. It blew it out of the way, super high sales. It was the second highest sales total on record. The only month that beat this previously was September of the previous year. So very hot time to be buying houses. And for single-family homes, there was a 10.3% increase in purchase price for the median sales price, and that is a record for the month of September. That's up to $750,000 from $680,000 last year. And before we go any further, this is just an overview of the greater Boston area specifically. So this isn't the entire state of Massachusetts. This isn't zoomed in on a particular or specific town at this point. This is really just the greater Boston area, and I'll be glad to provide an overview of those towns that are included there. And for condominiums, it was a pretty similar story. So again, the median sales price for condos was up 4.6% compared to the previous year. Also, again, record high for the month of September. And for multifamily homes, there was, again, a lot of sales. So the sales increase was up 21.3%. So this is kind of just like the overview of the market, and now we're going to be kind of zooming in a little bit for some more details here. So in terms of units sold, again, we see that for single-family homes, looking on the section over here, this was down 13% compared to September of 2020. And again, putting that in historical context, that was the hottest September ever on record, and September of 2021 is the runner-up. So compared to August, everything is down. The single-family homes sales were down 21.2%, and condos are down for the amount sold 10.7%. And so, this is typical with what we see. Really, the late spring and summer months are really kind of the hottest months of the year. And now we see that things are starting to cool off and taper a little bit as we're going into the fall months. So in terms of median selling price, kind of as we mentioned in the beginning, this is up 10.3 and 4.6% for single-family homes and condominiums respectively compared to this time last year. So while it is pretty competitive out there, it's another thing that we may touch on here is that it's not still an awesome time to buy. I think interest rates right now are around 3.1% depending on your credit score and how much you're putting down. So it's definitely still an insanely great time to be buying a house. In terms of month over month, again, compared to August, we're seeing things are cooling off a little bit with the median sales price of $708,000 and $637,000. So that's good. So if you're starting to think about, okay, I'm thinking about buying, I hear that it was crazy hot, like I don't really want to be getting involved with some of that stuff. The good news is things are starting to come down from that peak of the really, really red hot market. It's still competitive out there right now, but things are not, like the prices are not continuing to go up. And this is typical of what we see kind of on a yearly basis, where really those prices start to come down in the fall and then go down a little bit more into the winter months before picking up again in the spring and the summer. So in terms of active listings, this is the amount of listings that are currently on the market now. And again, so we can see on the section over here, the amount of active listings in September of this year compared to last year is down 16.6%. Again, that was the hottest September ever on record for number of sales closed in a year in the greater Boston area. And then from a month over month perspective, actually another thing that's great for prospective buyers is that the amount of inventory is continuing to increase. And as we can see this over here, the amount of units coming available compared to the month of August are actually up 24.8%. So that's awesome. So what we're seeing here is that there's more homes coming on the market in the month of September. And especially compared to August, what happens is now if you have a pool of buyers, say there was 100 buyers, previously there were 10 houses, so there'd be 10 offers on a house. And now if there is 20, again, this is for an example, you're basically spreading out the amount of offers that would be created on each house, which is lowering the pricing pressure, which kept that raising earlier. So again, earlier in the year, one of the reasons we saw that the pricing was just continuing to go up and up and up is there was a ton of buyers in the market. Everyone's looking for a place to buy, get some more space, especially with COVID and working from home. And the inventory was at essentially almost a historical low. So we saw a ton of buyers coming into the market. The inventory couldn't keep up. And now we're starting to see that the inventory amount is catching up a little bit with more inventory coming online. And that's great to see with some pricing relief for buyers. And in terms of some of these other statistics, so month supply of inventory, that's 2.2. So that's just continuing to show, and we're looking over here now. This is just continuing to show the amount of buyers that are out there. So for all the houses that are coming online, they're just getting scooped up still at a really fast rate. And again, this is a little bit more of a deep dive into that. So we're seeing, and again, in this chart, the yellow line is the condominiums and the blue is the single family homes. So we can see that the month supply of single family homes is lower. And what that means for perspective is the lower the number here, the stronger the market is for sellers. So it's things are selling more quickly, usually selling for over asking price. And another kind of heuristic that we use in the market here is usually when the month supply of inventory is around 6 months, that's like a very well-balanced market between buyers and sellers. And when it starts to dip below 6 months, that's where it's considered a seller's market, and above 6 months is considered a buyer's market. So as we can see right now, it's still strongly in the seller's market area, but as on the right side of the graph here, we're starting to climb as we're getting more inventory. So that's great to help kind of get to equilibrium a bit. And so in terms of new listings, the amount of new listings that are coming online, they're, again, down compared to that historic September of 2020. It's hard to compete against that one. But again, looking at this compared to August, we can see huge amount of change here. So this is a ton of inventory coming online, which is great. So it's usually in the fall, things really cool off quite a bit, but it's continuing to be really active this fall in 2021 in the greater Boston area. So usually there's not a lot to look for necessarily, or much less in the summer. And right now there's still a ton of awesome houses, a ton of awesome condominiums coming onto the market. And for those interested in the multifamily market here, looking at September of last year compared to this year, we see that the median price is up about 10.4%. But again, it's kind of a similar story. So new listings is increasing, which is great. So for this, new listings is increasing. The amount of sales is going up again, 33%. That's insane. So that's 33% more sales happened in September of this year compared to September of 2020. And for days to off market, this is also a metric that we use to help measure how hot a market is right now. And we can see that the shorter the days to off market, that's showing that these homes are getting offers very quickly, almost as soon as they go in the market, usually three to 5 days after something gets listed. And then from that point in time to when it's off market and considered sold, that's really fast. So this is continuing to show that usually if we see this number of days to off market creeping up, that's showing that things are starting to go a little bit more in the buyer's favor. As things sit on the market for a week or two, people come, they say, oh, we're not really interested. So with this going down, it shows that there's a lot of interest in this segment. And let's see. Yeah, so just looking over here at the month-to-month statistics, we can see that the median selling price in September compared to August is actually continuing to climb. This is a difference compared to the single-family homes where this number was starting to dip a bit. And so, yeah, definitely glad to provide more information if you have any questions on this stuff. And this is, again, kind of a culmination of some of the single-family home statistics that we looked at but we have all of this kind of in a nice, neat view for you to quickly and easily consume all this information. But again, I think the big things to focus on specifically is that the prices are starting to come down compared to August. See, there's a lot more inventory coming available, especially new listings. And so this is another one that I don't think we got into yet, but the sold to original price ratio, what this is showing is for the price that the homes are listed at, how much over or under asking price are they compared to the original asking price. And this is showing that in September of this year, if a house is listed at a similar price, it will on average sell for 103.4% of that initial listing price. So this is showing that homes are still going for over asking price right now, on average by about 3.4%. And similarly for condominiums, so right now it's pretty well balanced. Things are generally going for about what the asking price is. This is 99 points, so it's slightly under, but really what we're seeing is some of the condominiums are going for over asking price. Some of them are going for under asking price. So like the average is kind of right around where asking price is in general, but we are seeing, depending on the units, some fluctuations there. So it's not quite as hot as a single family market. And awesome. So that's our overview for September of 2021. Again, we compared that to September of 2020 and also August of 2021. So give you kind of a good comparison of where the market's going, both kind of zoomed out from the year over year view, but also looking at the month over month. So yeah, ready to help you out. If you have any other follow-up questions, feel free to reach out, and we look forward to helping you with your move.